A sold out theater and plenty of anticipation for an early screening of Michael, a new biopic that follows the life and career of the King of Pop from his rise to global fame to the legacy he left behind. For fans like Shania, Shamar, and Chrisman, the excitement is personal.
I've been doing and dancing Michael Jackson my whole life, so I've been excited. I've seen Jackson, American Dream, all those movies. So I feel like this is something that Jafar and Juliano can make be one of the biggest movies ever.
The film stars Jafar Jackson, Michael Jackson's nephew, in the lead role, aiming to bring a new level of authenticity to the story. For these fans, Jackson's influence has been part of their lives for years, from watching past films to recreating his moves at home.
For me, this is my twin brother. So she said he grew up dancing Michael Jackson since like birth. So obviously we had to like always watch it on TG and end up learning the dance move till then. We had the like Wii game. So like he's very sentimental to us. So we really love her.
They say the movie could introduce Jackson's music and message to a new generation while reconnecting longtime fans with his impact.
Obviously, he's a legend, so you can't miss that.
For them, that impact goes beyond music, pointing to Jackson's message of unity and making the world a better place.
I know Michael Jackson's type of guy to want the world to become a better place, bring everybody together. So I feel like this movie is definitely gonna do that. So.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for this episode of Behind the Curtain. I am your host, Gio Battaglia. So excited about all of the exciting things that we have to talk to you about tonight. First, as you just saw, yes, I was among one of the first to see the Michael Jackson biopic, Michael. It came out at Cinemark Tinseltown in an IMAX format on Wednesday. And something I love about going to those early screenings is just seeing the community of people. Everyone, as you just saw in that little montage there, everyone had their Michael merch on. There were some people that had on the Thriller jackets and the glove and the hat and the sequence. Just everything that Michael Jackson helped make these people feel free through music, performance, everything like that really shined through the stage. It just made me really excited for the movie. Now, I do have to disclose that I was not always the biggest Michael Jackson fan, not because of music, not because of talent, not because of anything like that. But when I was a child, I had a fear of the look of Michael Jackson, like present day Michael Jackson back when it was, 2008, 2007, 2009 era. And I found comfort in the fact that I've seen on social media that other people shared these fears as well, but I've kind of grown out of that, especially with the movie coming out. I've revisited Michael's music videos and albums and performances and read the Wikipedia page, and I can only listen to him when the sun is up, but nevertheless, I was excited to see the film last night, which I thought was amazing. It is very surface level biopic. It doesn't really take you into Michael's mind as far as emotions as his career is evolving. We do see a lot of the film is focused on the relationship between Michael Jackson and his father, Joseph, which Coleman Domingo did a phenomenal job acting as Joseph Jackson. You could just feel the tension in each scene that he was in. You kind of felt a chill or, your chest tighten a little each time he was on screen. Michael Jackson, played by his nephew Jafar Jackson, Jermaine's son, was absolutely incredible. He did a great job just embodying the performer that Michael Jackson was and that legacy that still lives on. It helped keep the film fluid continuously, and it was 2 hours long. It felt like it could have gone for 6 hours because it only goes up until, I don't think this is a spoiler because it's a real life story, it only goes up until the bad era, so it definitely leaves room for a part two. I thought that the young Michael Jackson was absolutely phenomenal as well, embodying that Jackson 5 era and really the sound that caught the ear of so many producers. It was just a phenomenal movie, and if you are contemplating going, definitely go and check it out. Like I said, very surface level. It's something that's for the fans and to celebrate the legacy and the music, but it was definitely worthwhile here, and I'm glad that I got to share that sentiment with some fans over at Tinseltown. It was a great showing, and if you can see it in IMAX, definitely see it in IMAX because the sound was absolutely incredible. It did feel as similar as present day can feel to being at a real Michael Jackson concert. That sound in there was absolutely absolutely electric. Switching gears now, we have some more star power to talk about. We are talking with a hometown star who made Fairport proud on the national stage. Fairport native Lucas West captured America's attention with his unforgettable run on The Voice, finishing in third place that was announced just a few weeks ago. From his roots here in Rochester to performing for millions across the country, Lucas is sharing what the experience was like, the moment his journey came to an end, and what comes next after an incredible season. Here is my second interview with Lucas West. Let's talk about this past week. So, on Tuesday, we obviously saw the exciting moment where Carson Daly said that you came in third place in the voice competition. Talk a little bit about what was that like? Because it wasn't live, so you had to keep it under wraps for a little bit. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely hard to keep the secret. Yeah, it was incredible. I'm still processing it, honestly. Placing third was pretty crazy, and just being in that position to like sing a duet with John and even make it to as far as you can make it on the show, without winning is, insane. I remember when I started that process and I was battling so much self-doubt in the blind audition, and I didn't really know who I was yet. And that process never ends, by the way. It's perpetual, but it's crazy that I ended up being there the entire duration, or the maximum duration that you can be out there for filming, and I was able to pull it off. So I'm really, really grateful, and up from here, onward and upwards. I'm just getting started. So
Nice. And what made this season the season to audition? I mean, you're still going through school, and what was the kind of push?
well, that's kind of it, honestly. I'm a senior at SUNY Fredonia right now, and I loved my time here, but it's coming to a close, and I want to be able to hit the ground running with my career, and this is going to be able to help me do that really, really well. And first and foremost, I'm very grateful because it's pretty rare to have something like that at 21, so I don't take that for granted, and I really, really am honored and grateful for the opportunity.
And you saw some stars recognize you during this. We saw Billy Joel and Lou Graham. And how does it feel to have that recognition kind of in the midst of the competition?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because like what's outside of the competition is what kind of humanizes it, makes it real. Because before I was like, oh, I'm just on the show. But when Billy Joel, for example, and Hunter Hayes too, reached out, I was like, oh my God, it's real. The songs were real. The artists actually wrote the songs. It's all real. So it's definitely, I think that's, in my opinion, one of the coolest things to come out of the whole experience. That plus the friendships with the contestants, those are lifelong friendships. But I'd say that's the coolest thing to come from the experience, easily. The real world happenings, the connections, the realizations, the revelations, all of that.
And you're not just a vocalist, you're also a pianist and an arranger. So how was working with John in that aspect for your performances each week?
I certainly try to play keys in range and whatnot, but working with John, I think, well, originally John was by far the best choice because he's a pianist singer, but he also knows how to step away from the keys and perform like that. So to me, it made perfect sense. Someone who's predominantly on keys, but also has the ability to very confidently leave the keys. So that seemed like a very logical decision to me in that moment. And I'm really glad I picked him because it worked out really well. And I feel like it's just such a homecoming. I went into that wanting to pick John if he turned for me, and I ended up being his finalist. And we played a dueling pianos duet together, and yeah, that's gonna be on tape for the rest of my life. And it's beyond words how grateful, and just it's hard it's gonna take a couple more weeks, I think, to really wrap my mind around this.
Yeah, for sure. And you said onward and upward, which I love. So you're finishing out your senior year at Fredonia, and then you're also getting ready for your debut single. So talk a little bit about what these next few weeks are going to look like.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So yeah, the show's amazing. It's a huge opportunity. There are 29 seasons worth of artists now, and it's about what you do after the show that defines you and creates your career. Because this is not a career. A career is made up of many, many little things that eventually, hopefully, convalesce into a larger composite. But right now, the single is the next mission. That's the next goal. I put so much heart, soul, love into this piece of music. Recorded it in Irondequoit, keeping it in Western New York too. Recorded it at Tone Studios with my boys Brian and Andy and Nicole and Jason and the whole crew there. So it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited. I think people are going to be surprised. I think they're going to like it. I hope they like it at least. But yeah, that's the next step. I want to prove to people that I have so much more to say than just the covers I did on the show. And I'm so far from done representing Western New York and being and calling this my career, I guess. So yeah, we're just getting started, Gio. But I'm Alone drops late May, early June.
Nice. And I like what you said about the camaraderie you had with the other contestants on the show and how you all were kind of rooting for each other. What piece of advice either did they give you or John give you that you're going to take with you in these next chapters?
Oh, that's good. I'll just be yourself, honestly. It's really not that deep. We, as human beings, we just constantly overthink everything we do. It's in our nature, especially if we're analytically minded, such as myself. So a lot of that is just accepting my tone, accepting my voice, accepting my musicianship, my sound for what it is. And John was instrumental in that. But I'll say equally instrumental were the fellow contestants, because in that situation, you throw together a bunch of hyper talented, incredible musicians and singers, and there's going to be competition. There's going to be big personalities. But what we realized throughout the process, specifically during the blinds, was that we're all just different. We're all unique. And I think my friends saying that, realizing that about themselves, empowered me to realize that about myself. And that's a beautiful part of human connection, especially with other artists, because they understand. You don't have to explain yourself to other artists, including John, and they understand the mission, they understand the career. So yeah, it's just completely invaluable in every respect, pretty much.
And you returned the love that Rochester and Western New York was giving you while you were on stage. What was homecoming like, coming back home after, the placement and all the love?
It's been pretty wild, I'm not gonna lie. The difference of the vibe between the finale now, making the finale, because the semi-finale and finale happened in 2 days. So I made it 2 more rounds in 2 days. So I think the vibes are definitely a little different, but oh man, I'm just so grateful for everybody. And it really, I can't do it without my community. And I really wouldn't want to be from anywhere else. I think the people here understand what it's like to just be a good human, to be kind. I love our culture that we have here in Western New York. Also, go Sabres, by the way.
That's right. Yeah, today's a big day.
Win. We're in the playoffs. What is even happening? But yeah, that's a great example. You know what I mean? Sabres, call me. It's a great example. The Bills, the Sabres, the community there. We're blue collar. We stay humble. We show love. We show kindness. When you're at the tailgate, you drop all your preconceived notions and you just show love. And I think that's such a beautiful part of our community. And I'm just happy to represent that. So.
Well, we're excited to keep cheering you on during it all. Thank you so much, Lucas, for taking the time during a busy week.
Always, Gio. Always for my brother, Gio.
Lucas has just continued to shine in everything he does, from that Bills national anthem that I interviewed him for back in 2025. Now talking about The Voice in 2026. I can only imagine what we'll be talking about in 2027. Thank you, Lucas, and congratulations. All right, coming up after the break, we are keeping the theme of music. We are talking with a local drummer who is hitting the road, the battles he's faced during his career, and how it has continued to bring him to the stage. That's ahead. Welcome back again, keeping that theme of music. We're meeting a performer who knows how to steal the spotlight both on stage and online. Joe Lana Jr. has built a following on social media as the Cowboy drummer, bringing his own style and energy to every performance. And he's also the drummer for Dropout Kids, helping drive the sound of the rising band with beats that keep audiences moving. Joe joined me to talk music, social media fame, and how those Rochester roots helped bring him to the big stage. Dropout Kings is coming here in a few weeks, so let's get the inside scoop with the Cowboy drummer, Joe Lana Jr. I want to talk about the Cowboy drummer before we get into Dropout Kings, talk a little bit about your roots and your identity here. So you've said that drumming is your passion, obviously. So when did you first realize it was more than just a hobby?
Oh, when did I realize it was more than a hobby? Probably, well, actually from a really young age, from the start of it, because of how much I loved it from my father. My father was the drummer. So I came up and I was like 4 or 5 years old, like on stage with him while he's performing, and I'd like play his drums with him. And by the time I was like 9 or 10 and actually playing, I knew for a fact like I was a drummer and that's what I wanted to do. So from a very young age.
And as you mentioned, your dad had a big influence on you. So what's something he taught you that still shows up in your playing today?
Oh man, honestly, to be like versatile, that was the main thing. He didn't want me to just be like a rock drummer or just be a metal, like a one-trick pony, as people would say. He taught me to spread out as wide as I could and learn blues and jazz and rock and rap and metal and everything, which is funny because my band is like a rap metal. It's two genres mixed, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, that was the main thing. He just wanted me to be a musician, not labeled as like a specific genre drummer. Very valuable stuff. If any musicians are listening, I highly recommend that.
Absolutely. Staying versatile is good. And how did growing up in Rochester shape you, if at all, not just as a musician, but as a person?
I think spoiled me for how good of food we have, especially like our garbage plates, our pizza. That really shaped me, especially like when I travel a lot and I eat food in like Kansas or something, like somewhere random. I always think back about Rochester and think like, wow, we really have such a gem. Like, not only is it a small enough city to where we can travel around and there's not crazy traffic, we have good food, friendly people. I mean, for the most part, in my experience, and yeah, I don't know, all of that definitely helped shape me, especially garbage plates.
They're the fuel to drumming.
Yeah, literally, they are.
And in addition to Dropout Kings, which we'll talk about a little later, you have built a lovely social media persona for yourself as the Cowboy drummer. So talk a little bit about where that name came from and how you kind of started on social media.
Yeah, that's a good question because I'm not a cowboy whatsoever. I'm not from Texas. Like a lot of people think I'm from the South. They find out I'm from Rochester and they're like very surprised. The name came from, well, the drumming came from my father, as I already talked about. And the cowboy aspect of it came from my grandfather, who both of them passed away. So I honor them in that way because my grandfather always wore a cowboy hat. He was from West Virginia, so I wouldn't say he's like really from, he's not like a cowboy, but he was like in the sense he always wore a cowboy hat. So I just wanted to honor them and like put both of them together somehow. So I got cowboy drummer, that was my persona, and I sent it just to honor them, you know?
And in addition to your shredding on the drums, you've also been open about your past with addiction and incarceration. So how have you kind of used that platform to share your story?
Yeah, I'm happy you brought that up because I'm in the works of like making this more a thing on my platform because I want to help as many people as I can. And I know there's a lot of people struggling. So yeah, I am working on like figuring out how to present that in a better way. But yeah, it was definitely a really important part of my life that helped shape me, you know, and gave me the work ethic and stuff to put that energy towards something good, like doing the cowboy drummer thing, because it's ultimately good. You know, I like to just make people laugh. I give away a lot of drum kits and stuff. So definitely something I want to spread the story more to reach as many people and to help people. So I appreciate you bringing that up here.
Yeah. And maybe expanding a little more about how the cowboy drummer persona and just music in general kind of helped you through those tough times.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, music in general. saves lives every day. And I remember being just a suffering addict, in and out of jail, like you'd mentioned. I was just going through a rough time, which I always was a drummer, like we talked about when I was a young kid. But for that group of maybe 5 or 6 years of my life when I was messing around, drums just went out the window. So when it finally circled back, once I had gotten clean and stuff, it helped just send everything because I fully morphed my focus into drumming and being a musician, which is what I should have been doing all along. But yeah, music helped me. I mean, music is so powerful. Just listening to a song can change. I mean, you know this. Anyone who's alive can probably agree with this. It can put you in a good mood. It could put you in a bad mood. A song could trigger a bad memory in your life and, make you upset perhaps. It's just really powerful. So I figured out a way to use it in a good way so I can keep the energy and the positive vibes up, especially coming from something like drug addiction, which is so negative and down. Music flipped it up, especially drums specifically. The cowboy drummer thing came like way later. I was already clean for like 10 years when I even came up with that. But it still helps just because it keeps me on track.
Absolutely. And with so many followers on these platforms, has there ever been a powerful message or a memorable interaction with a follower that stayed memorable to you?
Yeah, actually, well, there's been a lot of those because I'll get a lot of people that'll reach out and tell me how inspired they are from my story, or they reach out and explain to me how they're going through what I went through, and I've given people tips and stuff. I guess there isn't one like specific thing
Yeah.
that stands out, but a lot of them, and it happens every day. And I love it, man. I love when I get a message like that. And if there's anything that I know that they don't, or that I can help just from my experience, I love talking to people about it. And if anyone is going through a hard time with like drug, addiction or anything, feel free to reach out to me on any of my platforms too, because I look through my messages often and I like to help people. So yeah, that's happened a lot.
That's a nice offering, and I'm glad that people take advantage of it. All
Yeah.
right, talking about Dropout Kings now, getting ready to go back on the road. For someone who hasn't seen a Dropout Kings show live, what can they expect? Talk a little bit about the band.
Mm. Yeah, high energy. That's the main thing we get people talk about when they see our band is our energy is really high because you'll have our rapper Bill, who is a phenomenal, I mean, he's a hip hop artist just by himself, but in the band, he's our front man and he's crazy. He's got dreads, dude, and he swings them around and they're all over the stage. I mean, I'm sitting there on a drum kit, so I can't move, but they run around and go crazy and just capture attention. And it's pretty immersive. Like if you come to a Dropout King show, you immediately be like, "Oh wow, these guys, this energy is crazy!" Like right from the jump till the last second. So high energy, kind of chaotic and lots of fun.
And obviously getting ready to hit the road in just a few weeks, but a few weeks later, you'll be here back in Rochester. What does that mean to you to always bring the show back home?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, we haven't even played here in a couple years, and this year we are playing Rochester on my birthday, actually on May 3rd. So that's pretty cool, and it's really awesome to see all my hometown people just come out. Rochester is such a musical city. I don't know if you ever like go out and see bands a lot, but
Absolutely.
yeah, right. We have such a like just very musical, and there's a lot of musicians from here too. Not necessarily like huge bands, but like the keyboard player for Bruno Mars is from here, and the drummer for this big band, and you got Elvio Fernandez who plays in Daughtry. There's a lot of like people, and the fans who like come out to the show like they give me that same feeling like of just they're so supportive and so awesome. So yeah, it means the world, especially to play here on my birthday. That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, these artists are why I can do my show. So yes, we have a very music scene here. I love it.
Yeah.
And you talked about the energy that the band will bring. What about the audience? What sort of energy how can we match the energy of the audience?
Oh yeah, just go crazy the whole time. Just hop in the pit and just like and also like we're very good with directing you. So if you're at the show, just listen to Bill. He'll have you guys doing stuff, moving around and interacting with the crowd. So as long as you can match that energy, it'll be Fun. And Rochester, I'm never worried about that with Rochester. I mean, we've played I've played all over the world, and there's been some shows where people just stand there and they have no idea what to make of it. Rochester is not that. Like they
Nice.
go crazy. So
Talk a little bit about the evolution of the band. I mean, you guys have great streaming numbers and obviously can go tour in so many cities. So how did that kind of come to be?
yeah, it's honestly, I give all that credit goes to our singer Adam, who passed away in May last year. And it's been tough because we continued on the band with like we moved our guitar player up to the singer position, so we kept the same band. But before he passed away, he was such a workhorse. Like he always had a vision, and he was like a marketing professional. That's what he did for a living. So he knew how to market the band. He knew how to get us in front of the right eyeballs and get us the right gigs. And he was just his work ethic. It was crazy good. And I honestly give him all the credit for the band, like all the success and the numbers you're talking about. It stemmed from him just working hard at it and knowing how to like market a band properly. So very valuable stuff to have in a band when you're coming up, you know?
Nice. And I'm glad you guys can continue that legacy.
Yeah, it's really nice to be able to continue it and keep honoring his name. So I'm grateful for it.
For sure. I think those were all my questions. Anything else you wanted to note that I might not have brought up?
No, I think that pretty much covered it. The band, we talked about the cowboy thing. Yeah, no, I really just want to emphasize again, if there's any, because life is just crazy and everyone has their own life and going through struggles and challenges and stuff. If you're going through anything rough, even if it's not drug addiction wise, and you want to just chat with someone who's been in a really dark, low place before, it helps to just talk and let it out. So, I mean, I'm not a therapist or nothing, but like, I want to just be a friend and help anyone going through a hard time, especially if you had passed with drug addiction or anything. Just want to throw that out there again. You know, my door's always open, and if I can help, I would love to. So.
Dropout Kings performs at 55 Chestnut Street in Rochester on Sunday, May 3rd. We, of course, have all that information for you over on rochesterfirst.com. Thank you so much to Joe Lana Jr., Lucas West, and those who attended the Michael movie for taking the time to talk with me for this episode of Behind the Curtain. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.